In my last video, I showed you that a reoccurring pattern created a reoccurring theme, which you can see here as the Southwest Indian Ridge. You can see that this is the result of twisting, and you can see that near the end of this ridge in what looks to be the image of a vortex. I also have the negative image of that same ridge to help show that it does align with reoccurring themes that sit around the planet as surface features. And let's get started here. In the last video, I showed you this area right above Africa that looks like an obvious gouge. You can see that it's the result of twisting and corkscrewing. You can see that in the staggering of these images. So let me just bring this in, and I'll show you the first version here. With the Southwest Indian Ridge, you can see that it comes to a point right here, a sideways triangle kind of. And you can see that there is the same image here above Africa. And I just simply line those areas up, which anybody can do on their own computer. And then you can go into great detail and see that they in fact do match. Not only do they match when you move it around to different features. You can see that they're all related because these are reoccurring patterns and themes. You can see that if you follow the ridge all the way down to here, you can see it's still lining up with the features. You can see that this right here seems to be matching. Look, right here. See how it fits into that shape? It's because it's a reoccurring pattern. They're reoccurring because they used to sit above one another. They didn't sit side by side. They sat on top of each other because they are basically different layers of the process that created our planet. And it only makes sense that it would be scattered all over the surface of our planet if the planet has increased in size since its creation. That's just one right there. Let me get the negative version and show you what it looks like. It might be easier to see these alignments. See here, I'm going to bring them together. Let me zoom in. And you can see it basically looks like it's lining up already as I'm bringing it in. I showed you how this looks like it's playing off the heel of Italy. And these features here are lining up when I move them around. See how they line up when I move it over? This is obviously because this whole thing it's twisting and turning. It's mixing. And this has to be images from the core of the planet, because that's the only thing that makes sense. These cannot be externally created scars by an outside source. This has to be within the planet, and it has to be what's creating the planet, because why else would it have a reoccurring image that matches all around the planet over and over again like I show? Now this is just this right here. And under scrutiny, anybody can see that this is in fact reoccurring, and it does match up. Look how it matches again when I simply line up the pointed areas together. But that's just Africa. Look what happens when I come over here to North America with the same exact image, the same exact ridge, tilted the same exact way, and I line it up with the coastline on North America. you can see that not only does it fit all the way down to here, when I bring it in, well, it fits all the way across on the other side to the east coast. Let me just show you. It'll be more easy to see this when I show you the other overlay of a more centered image. You can see that this is related to the basin of California. What's even more amazing is that you got this triangle feature right here, and it also lines up with the triangle feature here. It's kind of hard to see, but it does. You can see it right there. Like that. The same one that matches then over here. The reoccurring images. You can see the markings here match up again when I line this up here. See how they're all the same? These are all images. They're different depths of the same thing. And my proof is that they line up. Let me show you the negative version of that so it might make it easier to see what I'm talking about. See? Look at how it matches up as I bring it in, and then even further. See this? And then it matches again inside. Hawaii, the Hawaiian island chain does the same thing, because it's also a recurring image of the same thing. Look at it, matches all the way up to here. You can see this, what looks like a feather, as I bring it in, also matches up with the features here as I bring them through with the feathering. Florida. But what's trippy is that that's 1, 2. Now let's look at 3. See, you can already see that it's lining up. As I bring it in. Here's where things get interesting. If I take this negative image and I show you again how it lines up with North America, and then if I take it and I show you how it lines up with the opposite side of the Pacific plate, right there, see how they come together, and it matches all the way down to here. And then if I take the opposite side of the Pacific Plate and match it up with North America. As I bring in the triangle here. See that? The California basin here. You can see that this is evidence that proves that the Pacific Plate is a rupture, because it has separated these two areas apart that now line up because they sat on top of one another. They're images of each other but different depths. And then you see that this continues on and lines up with the east and northern areas, even down to Florida. See, take a look. See how it lines up? Over and over again. Now, some people might think that, well, rock composition will prove that these do not line up. But that does not. Because, for one, nobody really knows exactly for sure how rock composition is created. The process that created these images is most likely the same process that creates rock composition. And it's probably a twisting electromagnetic force that compresses materials together as it's rotating and turning. You can see that this is the case when you look at the surface features, and it's almost so obvious that it's become invisible to our science, because I guess they think everything must be complicated. Therefore, the simple things just cannot be correct. But look at the alignment over and over again. Look. It's just almost too easy. There's no reason that this should fit over and over again unless they are related. So why doesn't plate tectonics acknowledge this relationship? Well, it can't acknowledge it because it will prove that it is wrong. Therefore, its own survival depends on the fact that it does not notice these alignments. But that's ignorance. Why would anybody want to deny the truth because they want to be right? Look at the alignment over and over again. These are opposite sides of the Pacific Plate. And when you really look at the Pacific Plate, you'll notice just by looking at it, it does look like a rupture. It looks like this piece is spread these two areas apart. You can even see the markings of what obviously must be spreading and stretching. You even look at this, and this look like curtains being spread open by something larger coming through. And according to plate tectonics, there's no spreading going on in between these two areas, but yet you just saw me align them up in a way that's undeniable. You could even take a look here at Hawaii, and it looks as if it's the center point of the rupture, because you can see the lines are all going away from it at different angles. This planet's increasing in size, and this rupture is recent, and my evidence is that they call it the Ring of Fire, and that means I'm telling you that that's because it's recently ruptured, and that civilizations flourish between cataclysmic ruptures. The Earth was once smaller, and it wasn't Pangea. The what I'm claiming is that the continents are images. They're the remnants of a smaller Earth that's being pulled apart as it ruptures larger. It's unfolding too, but that's something I'll get into in another video. These videos are just so much, there's so much information that I come across that I can't possibly do it in one video. It would take way too long, and it's amazing what I have found recently. And unfortunately, I was going to do a video on it. I'm just going to have to do it from the next video. But I wanted to show you how Africa rotates into here and then spins these areas together. But I want to go back and show you something amazing about the Gulf of Mexico and Antarctica. Okay, I wanted to show you an extreme close-up of the features that match up with the California Basin. Now remember, in plate tectonics, they claim that the California Basin is the result of stretching, that there's plates pulling apart over millions of years, and for some reason it just stretched this area out, which really doesn't make sense, because why, it just doesn't make sense to me. Never did when I was a kid, and it doesn't now that I'm an adult. But let me just show you this alignment here that aligns up with these features, and it shouldn't. I believe that this right here is the result of twisting and rotation, and these twisting and rotation is what causes the features on our land continents. It just is. I can tell. Watch as I bring it in. These are extreme close-ups so that you can see every bit of the detail as I bring it in. Now, the hardest part is bringing it in the right way. But you'll see that as I bring it in, each one of these waves or turbulence, whatever, will fit the features in the California Basin. And this is Lake Tahoe too, which seems, see right here, this tip right here is heading straight towards it. And it's almost as if certain features like volcanoes are the result of compression from twisting. You can see that, look how this fits. Even with the features off the coastline right here, you can see that this fits right into here, as this is obviously this is twisting, so it's going to fit. If I rotated it, it's going to fit in different areas because it's spinning like a drill. But look how this matches up with Lake Tahoe. Let me zoom out. You can see the coastline is matching up with these features as I bring it in. You can tell each consecutive wave here is related to the coastline features and the inside features of North America. And it gets so amazing when you can zoom in and you can see you could just tell that these match up. Look at the features here with the underlying image. Let me bring it back out, and then you can get more detail. This right here, well, it seems to fit over and over again because, like I said, this is twisting. So it's going to fit all over the place, but there's going to be certain ways that it fits even more amazing. Now I can go into detail. Oh, I could spend a whole video just on this. Look at this right here. How can this match all the way through the coastline? It can't be a coincidence. Look at the features here. They just seem to play off one another. See, look. Right here. And then, of course, if it fits there, it's going to fit here, too. And these are the same features that played off of Italy. It's because all the features on our planet came from a small area. And it grew out. But let me show you something amazing and revealing about the coastline here. Okay, I wanted to take you back to this full globe image because there's something revealing here off the coastline about Antarctica. Because when I match this back up here, like that, see how it fits perfect? Well, when I look down here, you could see this is Antarctica with that bubble that I claim is spinning. When I move this away, you could see this marking right here on the ocean bottom floor. What I want to do now is zoom in on both areas straight on so we can examine that further. Like so. See, this obviously looks like the image of rotation, but it also so happens to line up with this feature off of Antarctica when I line up the coastline markings. As you can see, it's what I did is this is pointing straight down, and I pointed this straight down, and as a result this is rotated off the coastline. But you could see that this is obviously the image of rotation, so if I counterclockwise turn this is going to line back up with the coastline. But this is what I'm talking about. This reveals a secret about Antarctica that our modern science doesn't know, but I'm going to show you right now. Let me bring it in. And dim it so we can see through it. See that mark right there? Notice how that rotation is lining up in here. What's trippy is it looks as if it's coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. You can see that counter rotation mark here in a smaller form. These are all images of the same thing. What is trippy about this is that 4 years ago, when I first started this only took me a few months to realize that everything must have come out of the Gulf of Mexico. But what it is the Gulf of Mexico is actually just a different layer of depth of what would be an opening at the pole. That's what I'm claiming. And look at the features right here. Let me darken it. Look at the matching going on with the features here. Look how they match when I bring it in. and then it looks like it might actually flip over, which I showed in another video, just the last video I put out. But look at the matching going on here. Notice that it's tying into the Gulf of Mexico. This planet has a hole at its core, at its pole. And these are all reoccurring images of what came out of it. These videos take so long to make because I keep finding more and more information. And this video was originally going to be about Africa and how Africa rolls these images all up around it. But obviously, I don't have the time to do that, so it'll have to be in the next video. But look at my evidence. This is observable evidence. Look at the twisting that's going on here, like a drill. Look at even the features match up again right here as I slide it back and forth. These areas had to have sat on top of each other, and what made these other areas. See this coming out of from the Gulf of Mexico and then curving around, and it fits this feature right here. And then my proof is that this is true is that, well, these features match all the way up the coastline. Therefore, this can't be a coincidence, and it can't be a figment of my imagination or your imagination. You can see this with your own eyes. Look at the matching going on right out of the Gulf of Mexico, because this is a reoccurring pattern of what's in Antarctica, and they're not telling us about it. But I can show you the reoccurring images that show what is actually hidden in Antarctica that they're not telling you, and there's a hole, there's an opening, and the Gulf of Mexico is just one layer of that opening that's been pulled away, because that's what these gouges are. All the way up to the seas, the Great Seas, the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea are also images. They're smaller. See how they're getting wider as it gets towards Antarctica. There's a big gouge in Antarctica underneath it. I guess I'm just going to cut this video here because it's getting too long. My next video, I'm going to try and focus more on Africa and how Africa is the remnants of a smaller Earth, and so are the continents that's being pulled away as it increases in size, because that's the only thing that can really explain why these match so well. Look, and they do match so well. It's like it's twisting and it rotated out. And my proof is as I rotate this will line up again. You've seen it already line up with the coastline. And what I'm claiming is Yellowstone Park and Lake Tahoe and the Gulf of the California Basin are all the result of twisting and rotation. Thanks for watching.